old Cantina Cast Patreon content.
Hello, Patreon members. Hello, Jonesy.
Hello, Patreon folk. Hello, Mr. Albert Padilla. How are you this evening?
And I got this, and I got this, and I got this, and I got this, and you got to see this, and this is going to be cool too. Yeah, I'm doing good. How about you?
It's like we're 11 years old again.
I've had a lot of coffee tonight. In fact, too much coffee, I think.
But all decaf, I'm sure.
It is, but I'm like juicing this thing up with a lot of sugar, so I'm like a little jittery here. Hey, so you are on the Tatooine Trading Post. I almost said the way station, but and this is the show where we get to share some of the more recent purchases, things that we're buying, or in the case of tonight, things that we're going to buy that I'm that excited about talking about. I have to show you what I've already pre-ordered.
Wow, a preview.
Yeah, more on that a little bit later. So let's jump in. Do you want to kick off? I know you said you got a couple light things. I have a couple light things as well, but why don't you start us off on?
Yeah, just a couple of really cool things from the May the 4th be with y'all that we did. So thanks to the folks over at Silver Lake Creative. So they gave us these little event staff badges, which I thought were just so cool. It's the signal of a Rebel logo, with event staff on it. Hey, if you're listening to this, by the way, at one of the other tiers on Patreon, this is an episode you're going to want to go watch the video on. So you might consider that now part of the tribe tier, just saying. But anyway, so that's the Rebel logo. It's just a little, fastened to your shirt type of pen. But the one thing I bought though while I was there, it was only $7, and I don't know how well these are going to come up here.
Oh yeah, you got the dog tags.
Yeah, the Galactic Empire dog tags. Now there's writing on here that's in Orbesh, but I have not translated it because I am just not made the time for it. But I just thought they were so cool. Keith with Silver Leg was wearing these, and he just looked so cool. He had like his little green army jacket and little hat on and everything. I was like, man, I want to be like Keith.
Right.
So I spent the $7 on these dog tags, which there's like an acrylic. It's just etched in there. They're probably going to scratch to no end, and it's just got a little chain on it. But I thought they were just the coolest little thing. I had to get them. I think they look great, and they're just so perfect. They're kind of chiseled around the outside, so they're very unique. They feel very Star Warsy.
Yep.
And it feels very inspired by kind of the things you can get over Galaxy's Edge, where they have the little name badges that are etched. They're usually colored or something like that, but these are just clear, but absolutely love these. These are really cool. And it was only like $7, which I was like, I'll take those, please.
Yeah. No, those are cool. I had a pair. He actually gave me one, and then I ended up giving it to a kid because I don't know. There was a story behind it. It was a sappy story, but it was one of these things like where the football player threw the jersey. Hey kid, threw it like that old 70s commercial. Nobody's gonna remember what that is. All right. Anyways,
Mean Joe Green, right?
Yeah, it is. All right, let's talk about. I got a couple things here. So I'll get the non-Star Wars stuff out of the way first. And it's only
this
two
is a Star
items.
Wars podcast, dude. Come on.
I know, but I got to share this because look at this. It's a gelatinous cube from Dungeons and Dragons.
I tell you what, I'm going to highlight. I'm going to solo you out here. There you go.
Thank you. Yeah. So this is the Wondrous Convention Limited Edition little gelatinous cube pop figure. Again, I don't collect pop figures, but this is that's a running joke. Okay.
Right. Nor does he collect pens or anything like that either.
Yep. Don't collect pens. And then this is really nerdy. Alex will probably appreciate this, but this is a D&D book that's specifically around my favorite character, which is Dritz Jordan. And they finally came out. Pretty good. It's like a visual guide kind of book. So there's, pictures of all the characters and everything that he's seen and done and all that good stuff. Okay. So there's that. Let me do one Star Wars thing real quick.
Okay.
This one's cool. Check this out. And I had this on the back shelf already.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
So this is Kylo Ren's ship, and from The Last Jedi.
Is this the Hasbro toy or is it something else?
Yeah, no, this is the Hasbro toy. It doesn't. I thought it would play like sounds and stuff, but it doesn't do it. You have to buy the little communicator thing, which is kind of a ripoff, if you ask me. But yeah, Kylo Ren's in there right now. He's not dead, still alive. But yeah, you have to have that little wrist communicator. You know what I'm talking about? Like they had for some of the other toys where if you held the characters up to it, it would say stuff.
Yeah, the Comtech type stuff.
Yeah, and I'm holding up the camera right now, but if you see there, that little blue dot, or that blue symbol,
you like touched
that's
it.
Where you hold the communicator up to. And then it plays all the sound effects and Kylo Ren's voice and all that good stuff. But Otherwise, it just sits here like it doesn't do anything. I mean, it looks really cool, and it's got this thing that was not in the movies. Let me see if I press this real quick.
Oh,
Yeah, see, there you go. So the missiles come out.
oh well, yeah. That was part when he attacked Leia's ship, though.
Oh,
in
that's
Last
right.
Jedi.
Yeah, he did use this. He did use this. And then you press it again and it fires. But I'm not going to fire it because I can't ever find these things. So, anyways, this was.
But you know how we know that's Kylo Ren and not Ben Solo?
Oh, here we go.
Because he actually has lines.
You jerk. All right, I'm going to pause there while I gather my.
All right, sounds good. I'll tell you what, I've got a couple here for you, and I haven't done comics in a while. But Dark Horse has been like they've done these one shots for High Republic Adventures, but this is Quest of the Jedi, and this cover,
the coloring is crazy
with Ty York, yeah, that magenta just pops, and I really want to give them a shout out and give them credit for this because these covers. So Dark Horse, if for those not in the kind of familiar with comics, Dark Horse has always been kind of taking a lot of slack for really having crappy paper and using crappy paper back in the 90s and stuff like that, back with the original Star Wars line. But this cover, this is like a high gloss. I won't take it out of the bag because it'll make a lot of noise and everything, but it's a high gloss. It's a really thick cardstock. Fantastic. And the pages are super vibrant. They feel really good. So with this series, and this is different than the normal High Republic adventures that they're doing. So they are a little bit special, but man, they have been really absolutely knocking out of the park with the colors, and the artists they brought in to do them have been fantastic. And so just wanted to give them a shout out. And I've got one other comic that just came out this week. I may have come out last week. So this is the latest issue of the flagship comic for Star Wars, issue 34. And how cool is that imagery of Luke Skywalker holding the green kyber crystal, or is it green?
There's your solo layout now.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I appreciate that. So it's just really cool imagery. And for those in issue 32, I believe he has his hand and the yellow lightsaber kind of crushed. So now he is on a quest to try to replace that kyber crystal.
Oh, so this is where he gets to the green.
Yeah, so we're ramping up to Return of the Jedi in the comic book series. So this one, and again, this is the Charles Soule's writing the flagship for Star Wars. So again, that's a good one to go read especially if you're into the history of the kyber and things like that. Or not the history of the kyber, but the history of how Luke gets the kyber crystal and all of that type of thing. So, but it's just such a cool cover. I just thought it was just the cool factor alone is worth it.
Yeah, we're getting into the all will be revealed phases of stuff.
Yeah, we are
in that Star Wars comic, which is not a bad thing.
Actually. Yeah, well, I don't know. I don't know how I feel about it sometimes because it seems like they cram a lot of things in between. But again, it's comics, so you don't necessarily have to. If you're the movies and TV shows, you don't necessarily have to give it a whole lot of credibility, unfortunately, which kind of sucks if you're a huge comic fan, but you also kind of get it because they're filling in a lot of the blanks and a lot of the story with the major characters.
Yeah, yeah. I think it's inevitable. Like, I know at some point, I even said it, we probably will find out what species Yoda is. We'll probably see his background. At some point, you got to remember, they have to keep this stuff going, and yes, they can continue to tell new stories, but there's something to be said about, these things do have a shelf life, in my opinion. It's just a matter of time. So I don't mind it so much. I want to hear more about the stuff that I've thought about now. As I'm getting older and soon to die, I really want them to. I need all my answers. So just start telling me everything.
You've at least got a good 2 or 3 years left.
At least
you're fine,
which is plenty. At
least, yeah,
plenty of time.
We got to get to episode 1000 before you can kick it.
Oh no, we're not doing that. Let's. I want to share my screen. I'll get to this real quick. So I had pre-ordered this already, and I'm not going to play the audio because we'll get tagged for some stupid reason, as we usually do, which I don't want to do. But I'll play the video here. So this was revealed here at Star Wars Celebration recently. This is the Chatterback Chopper. So it's a little animated chopper that responds to voice commands. On top of that, it's got buttons that you can press, and it does all of the actions and the animations. You got to hear the audio. It's like it's so spot on, and you can.
And
see
he shakes side to side and everything. Like it actually moves. It's really neat.
Yeah. So
how much was it though?
I want to say it was like $60. It wasn't cheap. Like it's more expensive than you would think, but given like the number of things that this does, it's probably worth it. And it's just so like, I mean, again, the video with audio does it justice. It just sounds exactly like Chopper. They've got the motions down perfect in every possible way. And not only is it voice commands, but you press buttons and it does certain things. When you move his hands and arms, that activates certain sounds and certain motions, that sort of stuff. So, yeah, I mean, how do you put a price on Chopper? The cool thing is, if you look at the box is tagged as Ahsoka.
Yeah.
So this is like one of the first toys that's going to release in the Ahsoka with that name on there, that toy line, as part of the television series.
So when does this actually get released then?
So this is showing October as a release date. So I've got
Okay.
a little bit of a wait on this one. And when I went to pre-order it, it said there were 5 left, and that's from Hasbro's Pulse site or whatever. So
Oh, wow.
I think Hasbro's carrying it, Amazon is carrying it, and I want to say Target was the other one. So if you were interested in this, I would say get your pre-order in now, because I imagine Target is going to carry some on the shelf as well as Amazon. They usually do, but it does sound like they're doing a limited quantity of these. So I don't know how many that is, but yeah, I jumped on it before, I didn't want to get stuck not having this thing, because that's going to look really cool back here somewhere at some point. So yeah, very excited about that, man. Love that dude. I saw it. Here's a question for you. I saw something, this is unrelated, today on one of the many social media pages that I visit, and it was who would win in a fight, R2D2 versus Chopper. Who do you think was winning that contest in the poll?
That's tough, because I think Chopper fights really dirty.
He's a jerk and an a-hole, but yeah, and he fights really dirty. Yep.
But R2 is crafty, and at the end of the day, they would be like on opposite sides, and then they'd have to unite against a common threat. So it's not really a who would have won. It's they found a way to work together.
Oh, stop. Just dealing an absolute. Who would win?
Oh, gosh. I mean, I'd put my money on R2 just because he's crafty and he's calm under pressure and everything else. I'll go R2, but Chopper fights dirty, so it would be a very dirty win. Or it'd be a really hard fought and a difficult win for R2.
So the consensus on this poll, and they had like 900 and something votes already.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, no, it was like fire.
It's serious stuff now, yeah.
Fire. But the consensus was everybody said R2 would give him a run for his money, but Chopper was like well above R2. And I know that may sound blasphemous. Our music train's already chiming in R2. I don't mean to.
I kind of get it, though.
Dude.
He
Look
fights
at Lauren
dirty,
saying
man.
R2. I don't know, man. My money's on Chopper. Like I get it. R2 he's crafty. He's very quick on his feet, but there's something to be said about that jerk. Remember, don't forget that Rebels episode where Chopper went on one wheel, took 2 blasters in his hand, then put his legs up, and he was just running around spinning, firing blaster bolts everywhere. So he's got it in him. So
I'm telling you, you can't trust that droid for anything.
Well, you can't. He's like my favorite. That's why I love him. He's such a jerk. And I'm pretty sure he cusses in several of the episodes.
Oh, man, for all the flack that R2 gets for bleeping out every word, and every once in a while you have an idea of R2 saying, what the, kind of thing. Yeah. But Chopper's it's just everyday speak for him. This is just his lingo. Has just swear words everywhere.
Navy guy.
He's a Navy guy.
All right, I've got 3 more things. You got something else there?
Well, I got one that's going to take a little while to get through, so why don't you bring one more up here?
Okay, well, Lauren, I'm going to give you credit since you're here tonight. So she showed me this book, and it dawned on me when she showed it to me that I had never bought this book, and it wasn't one that was sent to us. And normally we get these as like advanced reader copies, but this is you see that there?
Oh yeah, Stories of Jedi.
Stories of Jedi and Sith. Yeah, I forgot all about this. Now this is kind of like I think it's even the font kind of show. You can see it here. The font is kind of like a more of a kid's story, nighttime storybook, but it really isn't. I mean, there's some pretty good stuff in here. But similar to what we did with the Immortal, there may be an opportunity here in the future where we kind of break out some of these stories and do some deep dives into them, or at least talk about them on short, 30-minute episodes, whatever. I mean, we've got so many of these these anthology compilation books now that there's plenty of content to do that on. So I haven't had a chance to read this yet. I just got this in a couple days ago, honestly. So I'm looking forward to kind of reading that.
I am embracing the idea of like short stories that aren't like super, super silly and stuff, and be able to bring some of those onto the show and doing Jedi Novel Archive and things like that. I think that would be a lot of fun.
Yeah, well, we had a good time on that, the Immortal one, so similar in that vein.
Yeah, y'all did an awesome job on it too. Okay, so next one for me, this is a special shout out to Amber, who is one of our Patreon members, and while she's been to Disney a couple of times, and she's been looking for this, it's been out of stock, but it was in stock this last time, and so she was able to pick it up for me, is the Sith Holocron. So you can kind of see it there, and I'll kind of do it in its full glory. And it's got I already had the Jedi Holocron for a while, so here's its kind of companion. And what I will do, though, we're going to get real here.
Oh, the lights are going out. He's taking off his shirt.
I am
now
not.
the Holocron's coming up.
So when you turn it on, it just, I mean, it glows red. It's super amazing and stuff like that. But what she did, she gave me a little surprise though in it. So I've got crystals and everything else.
Mm-hmm.
But what I didn't realize was that she had, try to hold this. Good God, hold on. So what I didn't realize is that they had made a magic 8-ball kyber crystal. And for those that maybe don't know, if you grew up in a different era, the magic 8-ball, you'd shake the magic 8-ball, you'd ask it a question, and it would give you a response.
Mm-hmm.
So this is the Star Wars version of that. Albert, do you have a question you'd like to ask the Sith Holocron?
Ooh, a question. Does Ezra appear in the Ahsoka Season 1 series? Season 1 of Ahsoka.
Do not put your faith in prophecy.
What? You're full of it, Vader. You have no idea what you're talking about. You're out of your element, sir.
No.
He's getting in on the Grogu action here.
Yeah. There you go.
Yes. Hey, Vader, does Albert really know anything about Star Wars?
As you wish.
Well, that wasn't really an answer.
That's not
so
really an answer, sir.
yeah, clearly. Maybe I
you
didn't
drunk?
shake it up enough. Yeah, Vader, are you drunk?
Are you drunk?
Search your feelings. You know it to be true.
It doesn't. It sounds like James Earl Jones, but it's not, right?
It's definitely not. Yeah, it's
Okay.
definitely not.
It's a pretty good attempt.
Right. Now, one thing that I did notice about these that I did not know before, I just learned this.
I love that we just hear like we really can't see you. It's just a lot of light,
Right.
smoke and magic going on there.
So it has a little compartment, right? And you can change the crystals in and out. Now, if you just leave it blank, empty, and you turn it on, check this out.
What?
We are the Sith. So this is Darth Bane from Clone Wars, or Rebels rather.
Rebels.
Do you know who I am?
That's Mark Hamill. This is actually Mark Hamill on here.
The Sith killed each other, victims of their own greed. But from the ashes of destruction, I was the last survivor. I chose to pass my knowledge on to only one. I created a legacy so resilient.
He's quite chatty.
Now you come before me. Have you come to be my apprentice?
I mean, much like Mark Hamill, he just talks a lot. So, but I mean, but it's just really, it's just really cool and stuff. I'll turn the lights back on here and all that, but and turn this off. So if that was annoying on the audio,
I think it came in pretty well.
sincere-
At least I could hear it. It wasn't like distorted or anything. So
yeah, my sincere apology wasn't. Now, what was really interesting though, I've had the Jedi Holocron for a long time, but what I found interesting was when I turned it on. That's a little red for a Jedi Holocron. Not gonna lie.
It shouldn't be any red.
And then it starts doing it all over again.
Yeah, but it's
So-
Sith for a Jedi holocron.
Exactly. Yeah. Now, when you put in the Jedi, and so I've got a couple of these. I could do this all night, but just for example, so the interesting one is Stephanie gave me a crystal for I don't know for why, but for whatever reason, and it's supposed to be like Asajj Ventress, but it's actually Count Dooku, and so it's aftermarket. It's not from Disney, but it actually works. But if you're doing the Jedi holocron one, I put in a green crystal, so now we've got a green holocron.
The Force is not a power you have. It's not about lifting rocks. It's the energy between all things, the tension, the balance that binds the universe together.
Iron Luke. Yeah.
That's not Mark Hamill.
Yeah, that's
I've
Mark
seen
Hamill.
this raw strength only once before.
Yeah, these are actual quotes from the movie.
From Last Jedi.
I will not be the last Jedi.
Yeah, you will.
Oops. Yeah. So anyway, but again, so much fun and huge thanks for these are about $50 a pop, by the way. And so of course I paid her. I didn't take her money or anything, but she did throw in the crystal as a little surprise thing. So huge thanks to Amber, to Keisha over on Discord and stuff for picking this up for me. I've wanted this for a long time. The Sith Holocron. It looks really cool with next to the Jedi Holocron as well. It's great to have this set. And it's really cool to be able just to, whenever I feel like have indecision, I don't have a magic 8-ball anymore. I haven't had one since I was a kid. So
Yeah, you
I'll
got
just
another
ask
one.
Vader now.
Yeah.
Now, granted,
kinda-
don't know if you can trust what he tells you. I mean, clearly, but I mean, still, It's a lot of fun though. I love this idea that they kind of give a little spin on the kyber crystal, and it gives you a little different element. But I just thought that would be fun.
I need to get some of those because I'm super jealous that you have those. In fact, I'm so jealous that. There you go.
Thank you.
Okay, yeah. All right. Here's what do I got left? I've got like 2 things left. One's a surprise
Okay.
that I've not told you about. Okay, so I think I've shown these books already, and then these are not. This is not the real, but just for context. So this one came out, I don't know, right around The Last Jedi, maybe just before then or just after Rise of Skywalker, somewhere around there, right? So this is Secrets of the Jedi, and then they came out with Secrets of the Sith last year.
I love that
And then,
cover.
yeah, it's really great. Good stuff in here. Nothing really that we don't know. Like, there's no big reveals or anything like that, unfortunately. It's just,
Yeah, it was
it's more,
kind of light. Yeah.
yeah, it's more reaffirmations. And they kind of firm up some things that are maybe a little bit ambiguous, but beyond that, nothing crazy. But this one just came out this year, and I didn't get a chance to pick it up. I picked it up as part of the May 4th stuff that was on sale.
Oh,
So
that's
this
cool.
is the Secret of the Bounty Hunters one. So it's
I
got
like that.
Boba Fett, yeah, Fennec Shan's on here, and
Cad
similar
Bane,
to those
yeah.
books, yeah, Cad Bane's in here as well. Similar to those books, it's got a lot of pop outs and stuff. So I don't want to open this up too much because it just starts unfolding in different directions. But you can see here, there's Cad Bane, there's Toto, and this stuff like pulls out, and it just kind of gives you more insight into the bounty hunters, their way, their code, all of that. And it's been updated, so there's nothing in here that's legends. It's all from canon, so that's why they're a little bit thinner than you would expect them to be. But these are really good, and they're interesting because I've never even look. I'm going to show you one thing. At some point, we will open this up. But I have so I've got the smugglers. So these are the legends versions of these. Now these are massively thick, right? In terms of, and these are they're animated. Like you press buttons and stuff opens up on them. I'm trying to show that they're
Oh wow, they're on VHS cassette too. Kidding.
No, they're not. It's not that old. But I have the Sith one back here, and I have the Jedi. I have the Sith holocron, which is above right there. You can see it right above my right shoulder on the screen. You
Right
see
for
that?
us, left to you. Yeah.
Yep. And then on the other side, 2 spaces over, that's the Jedi one. And those open up and the books come out and all that. And that's the same thing here. So similar to these, but in a much smaller format and without all the legend stuff. This has all the tons and tons of legends crap in it. So
Very cool.
I got that. And then the last thing I have, which
Jeez.
I know. It's been accumulating here. So this is not. I have had this one for a while, but I'm gonna just show this real quick. You remember this book?
Oh wow, yeah, I do.
Yeah, Star Wars storybook. This was like one of the very first ones. Now I didn't have the hardcover when I was a kid. I got the Scholastic version, which I have up here, somewhere up there. I've got the paperback version. I'm gonna go get it. Hold on.
This is great radio here.
Bad audio, bad radio. Okay, here we go. So here's the original one that came out from Scholastic Books,
Right.
little paper one. Yeah. And then they did the Empire Strikes Back. Look, I'm just hitting stuff now. I don't care. This is Patreon. And then there's the Empire Strikes Back one, the paper one. And then here's the Jedi one, paper one. Now, I'm actually going to do, and I haven't told Jess about this either, I'm actually going to do something with these books. There's a lot of interesting information that's no longer canon, and it wasn't even, it's like not even right. Like, for example, let me just show you this. This is still not what I bought. I'm way off, like down a rabbit hole at this point. But when you open this up, again, this came out in '78. This was like the first book you could buy, and it's got all these like character descriptions about who was who in the movie. These are not correct. I don't know. I don't know what version.
Like all
of this.
Tarkin, like Obi-Wan Kenobi, or what?
No, I just meant like they're talking about. I mean, they're not incorrect, but they're so oversimplified, and some of the word usages that they put in here are like they must have gotten these from like very first like versions of the script that weren't the final script.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? So I want to do something with this because this is really fun to read. You read this and you're like, "Whoa, that's not right. That's not how that happened." So at some point I'll do that. Oh, the reason I brought that book out was because the book that I picked up was this one, which is Starlight Stories. So this is the collection, and I have a subscription to Insider Magazine already, but this is the hardback version of those collected stories that they did for the High Republic. And I think this book is like $20 to buy. It's hardback.
That's a beautiful looking book, yeah.
It's really cool on the outside. I have not so Titan, and they're going to hate me, but Titan is is the company that makes this one. I've never been really that impressed with their books. They always seem like a little bit overpriced, and I really felt like that on this one. I hate to say that, but when you open up the inside, I mean, it's got the the print, the High Republic print on the inside. The binding's kind of wonky already. I don't know if you can see.
Yeah,
it
I can
there.
see it's already kind of pulling.
Yeah,
loose.
it's pulling apart, and that's one of my biggest problems. Now inside, the pages are like magazine quality, but thicker, like twice the thickness of a magazine page.
Right.
So they're not paper; they're like the synthetic type
Kind of like you
material.
would expect from the DK reference books and things like that.
Yeah, exactly. They've got a lot of artwork in here. So they've got all the stories. When you get to the very end, they've got kind of like pieces on each of the authors that were part of Phase 2 of the High Republic or Phase 1 of the High Republic.
Mhm.
It's nothing and they're just the stuff that they pulled out of Insider as well. So again, if you have the subscription, is it really worth it? Probably not. But it is kind of cool to have them all collected in one piece like this.
Right.
And the reason I brought this book up was because it is very similar in terms of the size. I mean, they're almost identical, and they're almost identical in terms of the width as well. To kind of give you perspective of just how big or thick or thin this book is. So I don't know, $20. I got it on sale, so I would say if you can get it on sale and you're a High Republic fan, get this one. If not, I would say wait until it goes on sale. I wouldn't rush out to get it. I think like $14.99 is probably a better price for it. Maybe even $12.99. That probably feels a little bit aggressive, but
Right.
$14.99 would probably be a good price. But yeah, definitely check this out. There's some pretty good stories. These stories are actually Justina Ireland, Cavan Scott, and Daniel Jose Older were the three that wrote these. Or no, Charles Soule, sorry, were the three that wrote the stories that were supplementing Phase 1. And all the stories are actually really good. They're not, again, nothing too significant. They just kind of fill in some gaps of stuff that happens in between the mid grades and the adult novels and that sort of thing. So
the one thing I like about those storybooks, they remind me. Do you remember the books that came with the little 45 record?
yeah,
So those like the read along books, right? I absolutely love those. I had them for Star Wars. I had them for He-Man. I had them for Transformers, I think, or something to that effect. But I remember I had He-Man and Star Wars, and I just absolutely loved them. I had the Return or the Empire Strikes Back, I believe.
you mean this one?
Yeah, does it? And it has the record with it, right?
Yeah, the record's right here.
Oh, how cool is that? I'm so jealous. Yeah, I absolutely love those because they were just so cool. You had the sound effects. I mean, they played parts in the movies,
Yeah.
aspects of it really crept in. They usually had the sound effects, and it was just so much fun, especially when you had unique or like the He-Man ones were original stories. So you had it was about the closest we get to an audio drama these days, something like that. So but that's what that storybook reminded me of. I remember it reminds me of those old read-along books.
Yeah, these are great. Like now you say that, I kind of want to see if people have the audio extracted anywhere to listen to them. That would be a fun project to do. Is get a record player, hook it up to something, record the audio. Get it
Well, all
out
the
there.
record players now are USB, so that's easy enough.
That'd be pretty easy to do then.
And they're relatively cheap too. So
Yeah,
I'm assuming you can rip the audio from them.
Yeah, sure, you're good. So this is exactly the same thing here on this book. Like, it's not wrong what they say, but it's not what they say.
Well, it's definitely simplified, and
Well, he says
and there wasn't a lot of quality control, I think, at the time either.
So this is Yoda here, the picture of Yoda,
Right.
and it says, the odd creature pointed to Luke's blaster. Away, put your weapon. You'll not learn the ways of the Force with that. So you wish to become a Jedi like your father, huh? You remember that line?
Yeah, it's like verbatim. I don't know what your problem is.
And he says, but how do you know about the Force or my father? Why, you're Yoda. I was expecting someone larger. And then they go into the judge me not by my size, for my ally is the Force. So they're
These were made for like 5 to 8 year olds, guys. Yeah. So if
they're
even that
inaccurate,
old,
Jonesy.
they are not canon. Well, they're canon adjacent. How about that? Can we agree on that?
Canon adjacent.
If you were a tree on Dagobah witnessing this conversation, maybe this is what got passed down through the ages.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, how fun is that though? Yeah. I love those old storybooks. I mean, it is kind of a trip down memory lane of what things were back in the day, like the original Star Wars day of content. Like I've got the Star Wars comic in front of me too. And while some things were very literal translations from the movies, a lot of things were pretty loose, especially when it came to the kids stuff, like the kids stuff. And this is still the case today. They simplify the dialogue. They break it down into its most core elements, so it's digestible and they can understand it. It's more literal than maybe, what we see on screen of what we enjoy.
Mm-hmm.
That's okay though.
Yeah, that's fine. Okay, I think that's it. I think that was all. That was the last thing I had. So there you go. You're welcome.
Well, cool.
But I
mean,
have more
there's
stuff
always
coming.
stuff. I mean, I've got so much stuff around me right now. I'm just looking around the room and I'm like, holy smokes, I've got so many things I could share. But we'll keep this short. We've got a lot of stuff for next week. A lot of things in the backlog of things that we've just collected over the years too. And so that's what I really like about the show is that we can just kind of bring a few things out every week and kind of highlight things that are favorites from our collection that maybe don't always get the light of day. There's some things that I don't even pull out for display that this show will allow me to at least come and like bring them out and shows them, even though I don't necessarily have them as an item. Like I've got a Darth Vader TIE fighter that's like this big. I mean, it's literally like 2 feet across.
Wow.
You know, and I just don't have a place to put it anymore. And so I'll bring it out for this show though.
Mm-hmm.
So
Maybe
it's
the Dog
pretty
and
neat.
Pony Show. Literally Dog and Pony Show.
Well, Dog and TIE Fighter show, but yeah, sure.
Yeah, there you go. Okay, well, we're going to end the show here. And as a reminder, we mentioned this on the last show. If you didn't join us for the Visions breakdown, we will be back on Saturday because Sunday is Mother's Day. So we will be honoring that holiday. And Saturday, we'll come back and do the Way Station. Hopefully, we don't get any breaking news on Saturday. That'd be really weird if they did, or Sunday, I should say.
Right.
And then on top of that, we will also be doing our Patreon Spotlight show. So.
Right. And check Patreon, please, because we got the top 3 Mando season 3 that we'd like to do from a certain point of view. Bring y'all onto the show. So if you're at the certain tiers, you have preferred treatment, and then we have kind of eligibility as well. So please go take a look at that. There's a post out there. I believe everybody can see it over on cantinacast.com/Patreon. It should be pinned at the very top. Let me know if you're interested so we can get those in. I could start getting times and everything else situated. Doesn't take a whole lot of effort. If you've not been on the show before, we don't expect a whole lot from you, like with audio and video and stuff like that. We just want you there to have a great time and have a great conversation. We'll tell you everything you need to know. If you've been on the show before, we'd love to have you back if you're interested. So I think Dante's said he's interested and available. So we will see who else pings me on that one. So again, just go out there and check out that post. We want to do that next Sunday, May 21st. So please let me know by May 16th, please. You're on mute.
Yeah, come on out. Have fun. Hang out with us.
Yeah, share your top 3 moments from a really cool season of Mandalorian.
Mm-hmm. All right, we will end the show there. I am once again struggling to find the freaking end credits for this thing. Why are they so difficult to find? Here they are. Okay.
Because they're in the exact same place we left them.
Yeah, that's true. If they
That's
were
the
any other
easiest-
ways, I would have
Easiest place to lose things is to put it right where you left it.
Yep. All right, guys. We'll see you guys here very soon.
You're still listening? Wow, that's amazing. Well, I'm here to give you the disclaimer. Normally we do a big, long, drawn-out disclaimer thing saying what's what and who's what and all that other stuff, but I think you guys kind of know that Lucasfilm and Disney have no affiliation with us at all, and we have none with them. We talk about Star Wars, which is their property and all that other good, fun stuff, but I think you can tell which is our stuff and which is their stuff. If you can't, well, then send a lawyer to send an email to me and I'll be glad to chat with them. Other than that, you know what's what, so that's your disclaimer.